I'm the DM.
Hi, I'm Stephen, and I'm playing Lehane, who's not as good at stealing as he used to be.
And I am Moa. I'm playing Lox, and I've never had to steal anything, so why would I?
You're this is Wayward Sons, and you're heading south through the southern wastes, and you've passed through. Where have you been? Halfarum, you've just left. You travelled there by Charlie the Tortoise.
Yep.
And now you have bought or hired a horseless carriage, so sort of steampunky long car. What you didn't notice and he didn't tell you is there's a nice sort of metal plaque on the dashboard which says Impaler.
Oh, nice.
Oh, how many little nods can we make? These little Easter eggs for all those fans out there.
You're heading off down through the desert, and on.
So I just say, Lox is driving.
Yep.
Lehane has the map.
Yep.
And obviously he'll be trying to chart the quickest way to where the mech dragon is supposed to be on the map. So would that be going over water or?
So you've the next sort of conurbation is Dilborum, which is on the southern tip of the peninsula you're on. I can change the map on here.
Yes, please.
Oh.
So we're around here now.
So you're heading. You were here, and you're heading. Basically, you've headed along the coast.
Awesome.
Really, that seems to be the most obvious route, and then you're going to head along here to here.
Cool.
And we're trying to get
to there.
To there. Okay.
Right.
So you're racing through the desert, and there's a little story written on the back of the map.
Oh.
It's a little and it's called The Saviour Cometh. It looks like it's sort of a religious, some really religious person has made these maps and has sort of put little verses in there. Do you want me to read to you what it says?
Yeah, absolutely.
Misgodel was a paradise where the holy ones and their lion god held back the powers of hell. But the goddess failed. She died. A great demon broke free. Misgodel was laid waste. Thousands died and great evil filled the world, mutilating many good people. With their goddess dead and many vile beings walking abroad, spewed from the depths, the holy ones were almost lost until a great metal dragon filled the sky, blocking out the sun. He brought light and enlightenment to the holy ones. He taught them his ways and they gave themselves body and soul to him. From their pain came to the greatest people on earth, the mech dwarves of the southern wastes.
Ooh.
These dwarfs are a bit full of themselves, aren't they?
They really are. Knobs.
Speaking of which, that dwarf back there, was saying like we were married, yeah. That was weird.
And Lox will just be driving and say, yeah, it was actually, but to each his own, and he's just going to keep moving. How far are we from the next destination, do you reckon?
I mean, basically, from what you can see is desert behind you, desert in front of you, ocean to the left, mountains just on the horizon to your right.
Ocean to the left,
I think
mountains to the right. Here I am,
stuck in the middle with you.
I think we just keep going across the desert until the desert before us turns into water, because then it's not a desert anymore.
Very true. Never a true word spoken.
Although actually, technically, it's then a desert, because a desert is a massive land that's been abandoned, whereas this is more just like a real big beach.
True as well.
Yeah.
So while you're driving along, Lox, suddenly your chest pulsates, and you feel like pain all through your body. You take your foot off the accelerator, and the car slowly Not as slowly as one would hope. There's no brake. I just want to point out, there is one pedal. It is go or not go. And you basically are just like drained, and you take 1 point of exhaustion.
Shit. Okay. Can he feel like why? Does he get any insight into?
It just feels like this gem has sort of been keeping you alive,
Yeah.
but it's sort of the power is going.
Oh God, I don't know what's going on. The gem's pulsing a bit. I don't know who it's connected to. I don't know where these powers are coming from.
Well, I thought that was pretty obvious. You mentioned your sister's name, and then it pulsated with power, and then vines came out.
Oh, yeah.
I've literally seen her pull like vine tricks before. I think we nearly fell into a pool in the Feywilds or something, and she just like rescued all of us with vines from her hands.
But how is that possible? She's on another plane, you said. Like, how is this possible that she could bring...
You mentioned her name, and it went all crazy. Lily! He just shouts into the chest cavity.
The thing does sort of pulse.
Oh. See?
While he's gonna say, do you want to take the wheel?
Yes!
And he's gonna like they're gonna like swap sides or whatever.
Yep, that's fine.
And he's gonna while Lehane's driving.
He puts his full force down on the pedal.
Okay.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
No.
He's gonna get thrown back. And when he recalibrates, he's gonna sort of close his eyes and almost like just try and focus in on the gem and see if he can like get a sense of Lily.
So you
I think he's had an inkling. He's had a very strong inkling for a long time. It's like Lehane said, it's very clear that this is Lily-like magic.
Mm-hmm.
But if that was the case, then it meant that something inexplicable happened. But it is a sort of sign that, oh, maybe she's not dead, but maybe it's something worse or weirder or whatever. And he's not wanted to think about it because he's been more focused on trying to live.
Yeah, you basically travelling through the desert so you try this and you don't really get anything. You don't really feel like you get a connection, but you're travelling all day.
Yeah.
So you bought this car pretty much this horseless carriage pretty much in the morning, and the sun is setting. Mm-hmm. You've seen nothing but desert, and also you didn't bring any water with you. Unless you have some hidden that you haven't told me about for weeks on end.
Got a small flask of something hard, but
so you are feeling you're all both feeling a bit rough. It's just been, you have your lips are getting sort of that salty crustiness, and the setting sun is a kind of.
How far are we away from the water on the left of us?
I would say you're probably, that's the only thing you've got to navigate by, and it seems like people drive fairly close, maybe 20, 30 metres.
Yeah, Lehane sort of steers more closer to the water, and then we'll take his foot off the pedal as an opportunity just to refresh and...
So this is definitely seawater.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's better than nothing in a...
Absolutely not.
No,
We do not drink
Lehane's...
salt water.
Wait, no, Lehane would know this. He's wisdomous.
Yeah.
Stephen's not.
No, salt water will make us sick.
Can you desalt the water?
Unless the DM, depending on how the DM feels about prestidigitation, having that ability.
Purify.
No, don't
Feeling.
have that.
So yeah, you as you sort of pull over, stop, sun setting, and you notice on the back, or sort of towards the back end, there's a tap.
Of the car?
On the back, there's a tap. Yeah, quite a big, like big sort of turny thing.
Yeah.
You know what a tap is?
Yeah.
But it's not a tap. It's you know those things you get on a pipe.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
One of those. And
What happens when we turn it?
water comes out.
Drinking water.
Well,
Water?
Lox will-
How are you going to test if it's drinking water?
Lehane will just test it. He's immune to a poison and disease.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's sort of fresh water.
Oh.
Oh, it comes with its own water tank.
Well, that would have been good to know.
Do we have to fill it ourselves? Maybe it's got like a salt purifier in it. We've got to fill it.
Probably. We'll have a drink of water and like make sure that all of the water doesn't run out of the car. Can he investigate to see? I mean, Lox is techie. He understands.
Yeah, so
like, stuff- how
there
stuff
is
works.
basically, it looks like at the front of the car, you put seawater in
Uh-huh.
and something happens. There's sort of electricity and you do not want to be on anywhere past your driver's seat on the
Right.
front of this car. Looks like a terrifying machine that really should be covered in some way.
Okay.
But it seems like the salt is being drawn out of the water, used to create whatever the power is, and water's coming out the back. Hey, wouldn't it be a wonderful world if we could invent that?
Yeah, right.
Hey?
Oh,
Um,
utopian vehicle you've invented, Paul.
So like, I'm not big with like technology or nothing, but like this seems like a real decent device.
Oh,
like
yes.
it could change civilizations.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It would be. Wouldn't it be remarkable? I mean, obviously, there's no need for polluting. I mean, it's not really an issue as much here.
Nah, the plug hole's pretty polluted anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine. Wonderful.
so you can, as you're stood here, having a nice little rest, the car's stopped, you start to hear the noises of the night,
Yes.
many of which are foreign to you. Some are coming from the water, some are definitely coming from somewhere within the sand.
I grew up on an island full of demons, and this ain't ringing well.
No, I don't feel well at all by this. Should we?
Yeah, let's get on with
Crack
on.
on?
Yep, and we jump back in the car.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you're travelling along. Lehane driving
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Lox.
I mean, I'm still exhausted.
yeah. So you drift off,
Okay.
and that can be as romantic as anyone wants to picture. Fan art, anyone. Yeah. So and as you drift off, you feel yourself sort of falling through. It feels like just through sort of trees and tangled branches, and there seems to be flickers of this sort of green sparking magic, and you find yourself in a dell, and they're not a computer like trees,
Love that.
and there's this sort of glowing figure in front of you.
Okay. Did he fall sort of prone?
Yeah,
or-
no, you're sort of. It's like a dream. So you fell, but you're not. You haven't fallen over.
He'll sort of walk towards it.
And so you hear this sort of voice say, "Who is there?"
Lox.
Lox. I knew that name once.
Oh, what's your name?
Corellin, Lily Corellin.
And
Lily!
fucking hell.
And you wake up.
Oh, I didn't like that.
Whoa, you're right. You right there, short
And
stuff?
he'll sort of come forward like, what does Lox know about Corellin?
Roll a history check, I guess. At advantage. Actually, it shouldn't be an advantage. 'Cause why
Well,
would
both
you-
of them were shit, so it's
Yeah.
fine. Although 14.
You have heard of Corellin's a god
Yeah.
in the pantheon. You
Yeah.
have heard of You're pretty sure it's something to do with the Fey Wilds and the elves.
If only you had a fey creature with you.
he's gonna kind of come forward. It's like, I think I just had a dream about Lily, but it wasn't Lily. It was. Do you know about Corellin?
The foot comes off the pedal at this point. Oh. Yeah.
Who is Corellin?
He's like a deity.
Well,
like
I
a
know
god.
that much, but other than that, not.
Well, of the Feywilds.
Yeah.
From what I understood, Corellin was like recording history of our plane and like the Fey plane and all the planes, and he was using this person called like a chronicler, and it was like a great honour to be a chronicler because you got to record all the history, but then you went a bit like mad and stuff because you had too much info in your head, and then you went off to Corellin, and that's what Frayne and Lily did. They went off to him. I don't think he was that good a guy, like everyone like God and stuff, but like I don't know, like he resurrected Torin. It's good. Torin's like was a friend of like Lily's and stuff, and like he told him to protect Frayne at all costs, but then Frayne and Lily went into the tree, and I don't know what happened after that. I was like on a battlefield surrounded by like shadowy vampire creatures.
It just I can't figure out if this is Lily, but how? And he doesn't really no, he's avoided touching his chest for most of the time that this gem has been, but he's gonna place his hand kind of on it and just try it and just.
So as he puts his hand on his chest, you get this sort of like intense pain behind your eyes, like a migraine in your eyes, and you sort of get this image of Lily, but she looks sort of terrible and glorious and sort of terrifying at the same time as holy. And then suddenly you feel this sort of something trying to sort of escape out of the top of your head. Two like little nodules trying to come out of the top of your head.
It's Lily, but I just not like I've ever seen her before. She feels godlike. She feels and that's not Lily.
No, definitely not.
And just, ow! Your family have horns, don't they?
Well, Mum and Bro do, yeah.
Could you have a look? Something's going on. It feels I've got something coming out of my head.
Foot off the pedal again and let it grind to a halt eventually. Yeah. Come here. Let me just. Do you mind? Yeah. Right.
Go for it.
Oh yeah, there's something there. That ain't tiefling horns though. Like when Richard's horns were coming through, they came in like front ways, backwards, sideways. You had to have braces put on them to get them all straightened out. Not straight, because that would be really weird. But they were like, they just weren't like flowing right. Poor kid. Anyway, that doesn't feel like tiefling horns.
And was it just like are they just like a small little bump?
Yes, but as you both feel them, you can sort of feel them trying to push their way out.
So they're still growing. It's not just the two little bumps.
Mate, we got to get you like to that dragon like now.
And just go. Keep going. And
Foot
he's
down.
gonna kind of have his hands like on the top of his head, and just keep holding, almost like he's trying to keep his head together, and sort of contain what might be like spilling out.
Oh mate, if you're growing what I think you're growing, we need to be like serious incognito. They don't even like me, and I'm just a regular looking elf. Funny eyes and all, but other than that, like, if you sprout antlers, then...
Antlers? How do we know this is antlers?
I don't know it's antlers, I'm just throwing it out there.
What are the kind of...
And he was like a deer man, innit? His massive tree was like two massive antlers and stuff.
Oh, well, I didn't have that piece of information before.
Well, you should have been more specific with the stuff you were asking.
Why are we shouting at each other?
I don't know, I don't like it.
Lover's tiff. Can you do a perception check?
Oh no.
No. That's a 3. I'm far too engrossed in the
17.
Okay, so while you're sort of looking at Lox and sort of shouting, the sun starts to come up, and you sort of been navigating by the light of the stars, and there's some distant light from some volcanoes that in the far distance, but there's clearly volcanic action around the southern wastes. And but now the sun starts to come up, and as you look past Lily, you can see sort of dust clouds coming towards you.
Just like natural dust clouds, or?
They don't look like natural dust clouds.
Oh, fucking hell. Steer. I would like to try and...
You can't really go anywhere. They're sort of ahead of you, but to your right. So the desert, the sort of beach desert, stretches on pretty much the horizon on your right,
So
and the
you've got to
ocean
go through it.
is on the left. They're coming from your sort of, basically the south-east. So mountains on your east, ocean on the west, this big desert on your east. They're coming from the south-east. You're going south.
Could I steer towards the water and press the water button?
You could.
Oh.
I love that. I hadn't even thought about that. I love it. Yeah. So So as you do that, you heading into the waves. Sort of the water's sort of. It feels like nothing's going to happen, and then suddenly this sort of and these huge, great pistons sort of barrels sort of inflate and explode out of the sides. And yeah, you are motoring along.
Well, why are we doing this? What have you done?
I don't know. I just saw dust clouds. They didn't look very nice.
And I think that's where we'll probably end the episode.
Hostile dust clouds.
Hostile dust clouds and baby antlers.
So go into the world and roll the damn dice.